Let's move on. Ohio State at Maryland. Top two teams are both on the road this week. Does CJ Stroud and that offense have just too much firepower for anybody to slow them down? I'll ask the same question. How will Maryland beat Ohio State this week? What is the formula?
I'm fact checking a game real quick. I just want to check the scores. Let me make sure before I make this case.
I'll make my comment while you're looking that up.
Okay.
I think that certainly like everybody, we just mentioned it with Georgia, definitely gettable. But I think that if Ohio State and CJ Stroud and Marvin Harrison Jr. and the power that they have on that offense come out and play remotely to the best of their game, it's going to be very difficult to slow them down. The one thing that I think could beat Ohio State is if you shut down their pass game, which I think at this point maybe is virtually impossible because we've seen that they can be somewhat one-dimensional. Their running attack little up and down this year. But I just think from a firepower standpoint with CJ Stroud, who could very easily be hoisting the Heisman Trophy, and what they have on the outside, one-on-one matchups, they can just go score points at ease. There's been a couple times where they haven't this year, but I think they have the ability to. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. And then you look at, I was checking something. I know Maryland started the season. They had like a big DJ Khaled shout out. They started the season pretty hot. They definitely have dwindled off because I was like, they got beat against Penn State 30-0. And so it's tough. I mean, the only games they really struggled in, I say struggle, they were kind of finding themselves early on with Notre Dame. And like that game was a top 5 matchup at the time. Then they struggled a little bit against Northwestern, but there was like the weather was a factor there. So I definitely became a ground and pound. The ball was wet. So that kind of gave Northwestern a chance. And so I don't know. Like it really depends on which Ohio State team shows up. And sometimes, like you said, they showed up and been that like you're just watching like something special. Like I mean, this is one of the best offenses. Like when they put it all together, they got these dynamic receivers. They got a great quarterback who can make every throw. They got running backs that can take the distance. Some of the running backs have been hurt, and so maybe like we'll see if they can have that balance attack like they've had throughout the year. So when I look at this team and like same thing, Mary's is a 6-4 team. I don't know what the expectations were going to the season realistically, so I don't really know if they thought they would be any better than what they are. But they are at home, and then I'm sure they play with a lot of pride. And so to me, the biggest thing for them, I think, if you can stop the pass, like especially with the couple of running backs they have, you down. If I'm Maryland, I'm going too high, kind of emptying the box a little bit, see if they can run the ball. Because I just feel like if you to play press man or go like one high against this team is like you're just asking for a really quick death.
Yep.
Like I feel like you gotta at least make them like try to make some reads like or make them get the running game going a little bit, because just to line up and say we're gonna try to play you man up and put one safety over top, let you choose. To me, that's a very quick death against a team like this that can score at will. So if I'm them, yeah, go ahead. I'm playing conservative.
Yeah, I think conservative is great. You still have to mix it up and bring your blitzes because I think you've got to put pressure on CJ Stroud if you want to slow down that passing attack. Let's roll through these next two real quick because there's a couple games I want to talk to before we get into our picks for the week. Let's just pick a winner and maybe a one sentence why or why not. Illinois in the big house against Michigan. We already think Michigan and Ohio State's going to be the matchup of the Big Ten this year. Whoever goes and represents out of that game will win the Big Ten title. But do you think Illinois got a shot at Michigan this weekend?
They both have similar offenses. Like they both are heavily through the running back. Chase Brown's a good back. He'll be a top prospect in this year's draft at Illinois. You got Blake Corum. I'm a side with Blake Corum right now off the hype, but Chase Brown's a good guy too. So I feel like I'm liking Michigan's ground game better than Illinois.
Yep. I think that Michigan will win this game. There was a lot of hype around Illinois and the way that they were navigating the West. But at this point in the season, like a lot of teams, you just run into the teeth of your schedule, and I'm taking Michigan.